Thanks so much for making time and speaking with us. But Mr. Rajesh Sharma also joining us. Mr. Sharma, what's your first take on the budget announcements which have been made for the financial sector, right from the Mudra loan limit to be increased, MSME credit guarantee coming in, a new assessment system being formed for MSMEs? What do you make of all of this? And do you see the growth rates then increasing for the entire sector, including the housing finance companies, given the fact that the PMAY has also got a major push this time around?
Is very balanced budget, focused on the growth, and I think giving direction for the lot of job creation, focus on the MSME, where MSME will get the credit guarantee scheme, and a lot of banks will start giving them the money for. So I think overall MSME sector will grow. If we come to the housing sector, the demand and the requirement for housing for all, where credit will be made available easily, especially in affordable housing sector, is a very welcome move. I think this will give a real push, not only to the housing, but the overall sector, the construction and indirect, a lot of job creation will happen. So I think it's a very good move. And if you talk about from Capri perspective, the MSME and home loan, both are a good news.
Rajesh, I want to talk about specifically companies such as yours who've been at the forefront of helping SMEs to scale up in their businesses via SME loans and affordable housing, of course now gold loan as well. Do you think all put together, the business model of Capri will get a big boost from here on? You've already been a very high growth company last 3-4 years.
Yeah, thank you. So I think there's a big push on the housing will increase the demand. When the credit is more available, more houses will get built. But it is also on the back of the focus on MSME, where a lot of job creation will be happening. So if the rural economy, affordable housing demand will take off, and the more demand for the credit will happen, the asset quality will be further improved. So I think this will also give the impetus to the entire construction sector and indirect job creation in the rural areas and semi-urban areas. And that way, if I talk, how do we fund a small borrower and the demand and their collection? I think it will have the cascading effect on the collection, on the demand, and overall the growth. So I think it is very, very positive.
Mr. Sharma, point taken. We also have Navneet Manoj joining us, as well as Mr. Bhajanka from the Century Ply Group is also with us. Let me first come to you, Navneet. What's your first take on the budget? Will you call it balanced, or are you a bit disappointed with the kind of taxation changes that have happened? And even the capex is pretty much the same that we had seen in the interim budget. So no push coming in for capital expenditure as such.
So because I'm from mutual fund industry, I would say this is an SIP budget, which is sustainable growth, inclusion and prudence. Prudence because there is focus on continuing fiscal consolidation. There's a lot of focus on inclusive growth, and there's a lot of focus on sustained growth and a strong growth over a longer period of time. I think a lot of mention about partnership, public-private partnership, market mechanism. Some of these were like music to ears. I think hearing about next-gen reforms, be it related to land, labor, capital, entrepreneur development, etc., were like music to ears. And I think tremendous focus on what India has built on the digital side, and saying that digital public infrastructure, which has done wonders for financial inclusion, can also solve a lot of other challenges at population scale. I think we have been underestimating the longer-term implications of some of these things.
Quick word before I go to Keshav. Navneet, from the market standpoint, the three things which have come, one is change in the duration for long-term applicability, long-term tax, the STT. Do you think market is in the process of digesting and move it on, or you think it will sulk for some time longer? This was completely not expected.
I think, yeah, so people are still looking at the fine print. People are still calculating or computing the implications in the short, medium and long run. And we'll have to see how it impacts from an investor perspective. I think there has been a lot of noises over the last couple of months in terms of the rising interest in F&O speculation. And I think something was expected from the government and regulators to address that. But to promote the long-term investments, I think market wasn't expecting much change in the long-term capital gain tax. It has come. But as you rightly said, that I think market is still in the process of digesting that.
Long-term capital gain definitely was a bit out of syllabus. STCG also going up, LTCG going up, STT charges and FNO has been increased, though exemption of the total capital gains income has been increased from 1 lakh to 1.25 lakh rupees as well. Navneet, hold that thought. We do have Mr. Bhajanka also with us on the show. Hi, Keshav. Mr. Sharma from Capri Global was just talking about how there has been a big push on the housing sector, whether it's the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana for urban or rural. Both have seen a big impetus. Do you see that having a big impact on your company, corporate India, as well as the demand for housing?
Good afternoon. Yes, I definitely think that the impetus that will be provided by the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana scheme is going to be tremendous. I think that going forward, it is a holistic budget. It is focused on both infrastructure development, which is going to lead to long-term gains, as well as a focus on employment, which is likely to help substantially in the short and the medium term. So I think for the housing sector overall, it is a good budget, and I think somewhat in line with what we wanted.
Time do you think, we were talking about it 2 days back when we were discussing expectations that if indeed, housing gets a boost, how much time will it take with the lag effect to start showing in companies such as yours catering to home improvement? Because now at the bottom end of even affordable housing is witnessing a surge in home improvement required, items.
No, definitely. I think with a lag of a year, we'll see most of the benefit accruing. Having said that, this is additional benefit. So all the actions that have been taken in the past are already showing, signs of boosting the sector. But going forward, I think we can expect better days, even better days.
I wanted to highlight one more point since we're talking about real estate. Now, the long-term capital gain tax on real estate also comes down from 20% to 12.5%, but the benefits of indexation goes away. So that too is something which is going to impact the secondary sales per se as far as the overall real estate market is concerned. So just wanted to put that on board with respect to the personal taxation changes that we have seen. But Navneet, just coming back to our conversation, I would like you to don the hat of your, erstwhile CIO roles as well. Do you think this budget would call for a rethink in terms of the portfolio and the churn? Because there wasn't any special mention for the likes of defense, railways. There's no major capital expenditure happening here. Clearly, the focus has shifted to job security, employment creation, as well as increasing the discretionary and disposable income. Does that warrant a switch from PSUs to FMCG and discretionary stocks now?
No, I don't think the focus has got shifted. The focus on infrastructure spending continues. I think over the last 5 years, we have seen tripling of, central government allocation on infrastructure from 3.35 lakh crores to over 11 lakh crores now. It has got extended. Instead of using the word shift, I would say it has got extended with a greater focus on rural economy, with a greater focus on employment creation, with a greater focus on next-gen reforms, which is overall good for everything. And we continue to remain a bottom-up investor. We look at individual companies, individual businesses, and of course, valuations are critical. In some of these macro themes, I think valuations have got overextended. Valuations are maybe in some of the cases, maybe running ahead of the fundamentals. We need to take a longer term call there.
Talk about one section of the speech which was categorically emphasized upon. And since you work with a lot of MSME guys and also, of course, in affordable housing to a certain extent, these land reforms which have been triggered, things will be mapped up, and also the efficiency improvement in the MSMEs. What kind of impact will it have and how much time will it take? Rajesh?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So I think any efficiency which is wrong, if you seen the budget, even this budget was also focused how the digital assessment of the lending should also be happen. So if you see whether the efficiency bringing in the SME sector or housing sector, it is going for the growth and it is going to also to see the benefit percolate to the ultimate consumer. So in that sense, I see that it is going to make a change, but it might take some time when the policy guidelines come and everything, the trickle down effect happens on the ground.
Okay, point taken. Just wanted to quickly mark what's happening in the markets right now. 24,300 on the Nifty. So during the budget, when that capital gain taxation change happened, we saw a sharp dip. From there has been a bit of recovery, but we're still down 260 points as far as the Nifty is concerned. Just quickly taking stock of some of the individual buzzers as well. Borosil Renewable is up 9 to 10%. That entire solar push is something which is working out well. You have CE Info Systems doing quite well. That geo mapping that the government has talked about with respect to the land records is something which is having a bit of a push there. NCC is in focus, a 6 to 7% gain there. That big push in infrastructure, especially in the regions of Andhra Pradesh, augurs well for a company which has been calling Telangana Andhra Pradesh region as one of their strongholds. So NCC is in focus. Angel One is up. Titan is reacting to that gold custom duty changes. ITC is quite excited that there is no major change as far as the tobacco is concerned and the taxation is concerned. So watching out for some of those names on the upside. On the downside, railway stocks are seeing massive profit booking. Ircon is down 10%. Realtel Corp is coming under pressure. Your likes of Hoodco, IRFC are also down 6 to 10% in the trading session. RCF, NBCC, RVNL, FACT, Mazda Dock. These are the places where people are clearly booking profits right now.
You asking why exactly is Angel booking up by almost 10% from lows? Angel actually in its call already mentioned that if there is a minor hike, they have the capability to pass it on, A, and B, they are starting new ventures like wealth management where the yields are much higher. So whatever hit they will actually take in loss of volumes over a period of time, over 3-4 quarters, can be made up for because of new revenue streams.
It was already announced, right, in the con call. What's new today? And the STT,
Peak
as it is, they had to pass on. There's a way of not passing the taxation.
I think peak of pessimism was actually formed in the first half hour of this announcement. And from now on, look at that, 2022 or thereabout. From there's a sharp recovery coming in. I mean, obviously, they'll take time. They've not announced the hikes yet in their other themes. But this is what they said in the call, that if there is a hike, then they have the ability to pass it on.
Sure. Navneet, I just wanted to kind of go back to the F&O bit wherein, these STT, etc. have been increased. Do you think we have seen whatever was going to be announced, or do you think this is just a preface? There might be a lot more coming from SEBI, because ultimately, SEBI is the one who has the maximum authority on this space. So is it just a precursor to what perhaps the SEBI can do to the F&O derivative speculation trading?
No, I'm sure policymakers are looking at it from a comprehensive perspective. I'm pretty sure that both Finance Ministry and the market regulator are working together to address this. We also saw the mention in the economic survey yesterday. It has been talked about over the last couple of months. SEBI chairperson has mentioned that it has turned from a micro risk to a potential macro risk. And we are seeing steps by the government, and I'm sure SEBI will do everything possible to ensure that investors' interests are protected and capital markets are for long-term capital formation and for wealth creation for all investors, and not for encouraging speculative activities beyond a certain point.
You go, Navneet, because your house does have very large interest in real estate business as well. The group, of course, at HDFC. The changes in long-term capital gains on real estate while taking away the exemptions. Any thoughts? Have you looked at it?
But on the other side, I mean, you also have to see the tremendous focus on the affordable housing, where the group has a very strong presence. The number of new houses that the government announced on the day one of its assuming power, and repeating that, and also the broader focus on urban development as well as a rural development augur well for that sector. Of course, we have to see the implications of the taxation on it. But my sense is that for new home buyers, I think if we are able to do a more job creation, and if we continue to focus on infrastructure in the urban areas, there is tremendous scope for India to grow on the real estate side, given the under ownership.
On that note, we'll let you go. I'm Mr. Sharma from Capri Global as well. Thanks so much for making time and speaking with us. But a big push coming in the budget with respect to employment generation and skilling, and that's something we want to discuss with Mr. Bala.